Hello everyone and a warm welcome back to another episode of Byakhya's weekly economic bulletin. I'm your host John Manandar and today I'll be presenting you the weekly economic highlights of the country from 3rd June to 9th June 2022. So without any delay, let's get into it. Since the erstwhile Prime Minister KP Oli announced providing seed capital to startups in the form of loans and venture capital, the government has announced the program every consecutive year via the annual budget. This time too, the government earmarked Rs 260 million for the program by announcing it in the budget for the fiscal year 2022-23. However, in absence of a working procedure to distribute the earmarked funds, the seed capital has yet to see the light of the day. As the work procedure is still in a work in progress, this year too there is little hope that the promised fund will reach startups in the country. India's Minister of Health and Family Welfare inaugurated the National Food Laboratory NFL in Roxaul, Bihar on June 5 in the presence of Nepal's Minister for Agriculture and Livestock Development. Established by Food Safety and Standards Authority of India (FSSAI), the state-of-the-art food testing facility is expected to enhance bilateral trade between Nepal and India by reducing the time taken for testing samples of food and agricultural exports of Nepal that currently needs to be sent to faraway Delhi or Kolkata for testing. Now to cross-border trade news. Trade between the countries of the BBIN sub-region, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India and Nepal is a nightmare. This is largely due to the inadequate infrastructures at border crossings, a plethora of paper-based red tapes, restrictive policies and regulations, and inefficient logistics for cargo handling. The implementation of the BBIN Motor Vehicles Agreement, or in short BBIN MVA, which was signed by the four countries in 2015, would have led to shorter transport routes, quicker travel times, lower cost and help realize to an extent the massive unexploited trade potential of these countries. However, as per the study unveiled by Nepal Economic Forum on June 7, due to a plethora of reasons such as the lack of inadequate policies and regulations, lack of infrastructures and facilities, absence of single compliance window, and unresolved transit, visa and currency issues, Nepal has not been able to implement BBIN MVA and reap the benefits of seamless movement of passenger and cargo vehicles among the neighbors. Now to the next news. The Kakarbhitta-Inaruwa Railway that forms a section of the Mechi-Mahakali East-West Railway completed the detailed project report after it was launched in 2015. Subsequently, the government froze lands of 5,000 families in the Jhapa, Morong and Sunsari districts along the route of the proposed railway in order to prevent rise in land prices. However, even though 2 years has passed since land transactions of the demarcated areas were frozen, the government has neither paid compensation to the families nor released their lands. As a result, the landowners have had no option but to protest. Also, while the ad hoc committee has estimated the compensation value to be Rs 24 billion, the landowners argue that even at minimum values of land, the compensation will be to the tune of Rs 100 billion. To the next news. According to the Gandaki Province Economic Activities Report, based on figures for the first half of the 2021-22 fiscal year, the average industrial capacity utilization of the 14 industrial firms surveyed in the Gandaki Province remained at a dismal 42.7%. As per the report published by Nepal Rashtra Bank, even though markets are performing normally since complete removal of COVID-19 restrictions, due to various challenges such as adequate supply of energy, lack of skilled manpower, rising input prices, ballooning imports of competitive products, high interest rate, etc., competitiveness of industries have faltered and so has their capacity utilization. Now on the aviation front. All works related to internal infrastructure of the National Pride project, Pokhara Regional International Airport, has been concluded even before its extended deadline and is reportedly fully ready for takeoffs and landing. Now the only thing that is remaining are external works that fall under the government's purview. This includes leveling down the Ritepani Hill of Leknath, which is on the access road of the airplane, managing the landfill site near the airport, controlling the flood that enters the airport, and widening the road to reach the airport. The government should therefore step up its game and showcase its resolve to breathe life to the third international airport as quickly as possible. Now on cross-border electricity trade. After receiving approval to sell 364 MW of electricity at competitive rates in the Indian energy market earlier this year, Nepal Electricity Authority has started exporting 39 MW of electricity to Indian Energy Exchange (IEX). This is because of the increase in power generation following rise in water levels in reservoirs with the onset of monsoon. Of the total approved electricity for sale, the NEA is planning to sell 200 MW to the highest bidder, whereas the remaining is planned to be sold at Indian Energy Exchange (IEX), where NEA is receiving prices at the range of INR 6.28 to 12 per unit. Now to the next news. The fate of the 1200 MW Budhi Gandaki Hydropower project hung in the balance as Oli and Deuba engaged in a spectacular game of geopolitical upmanship by repeatedly awarding and revoking the contract for its construction to Chinese state-owned China Gizhouba Group Corporation or CGGC. After coming into power in early April of this year, the Deuba government had revoked the license of CGGC and decided to build the 1200 MW reservoir-based national pride project through national investment. In line with this decision, which was also reiterated in the budget speech, the Ministry of Energy, Water Resource and Irrigation has decided to establish a company called Budhi Gandaki Hydropower Development Company Limited to build this ambitious project. The ministry has also prepared a memorandum of association and other necessary documents for the company, which it has submitted to concerned departments. Now to the next news. Endorsing the Land Use Regulations 2022, the Ministry of Land Management, Cooperatives and Poverty Alleviation has barred the plotting of residential land in the Kathmandu Valley if the area of such land is less than 130 square meters, which is 4 ana 1 dam. The government has come up with a restriction in order to control further fragmentation of land, which has become a rampant practice in recent years. The recent measure also echoes the government's announcement to control rampant land fragmentation in its policies and programs for the fiscal year 2022-23 released in late May. Now to the next news. After decreasing prices of fuel last week by Rs 10, the Nepal Oil Corporation has increased the prices of petrol by Rs 8 per litre and diesel/kerosene by Rs 12 per litre to Rs 178 and Rs 165 respectively with effect from June 9. Now for the final news, we have some more recent developments and updates. A total of 1,90,739 tourists visited Nepal in the first 5 months of the year 2022. This is a 75% recovery as compared to the time prior to COVID-19 outbreak. The Nepali currency on June 9 plunged to a record low against the US dollar, with Nepal Rashtra Bank fixing the exchange rate at Rs 124.68 per dollar. Also, with the announcement of the new annual budget by the Minister for Finance on May 29, the Inland Revenue Department (IRD) has released the revised rate of taxes applicable from the new fiscal year. Now, the Department of Transport Management has reduced the fares of public transport plying the inter-province routes. So that's it for now. Hope you found our weekly economic bulletin insightful. If you did, then please like, subscribe and share it with your friends and all the economic lovers out there. If you have any feedback, then drop it in the comment section below. Also, we'll be back with our top economic news picks of the week presented with our own analytical twist. Until then, have a wonderful week ahead. Checking out John Manandar.